Okay, you haggard whores, welcome back. That's Haggard, not Hagrid. Get your fucking Harry Potter fantasy out of here. Although Haggard might be a bit of a whore, but that's dependent on which fanfic you read, and I've read neither. That's just my personal headcanon. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying, to be honest. I always try to string together some random pieces of words. It's like that, what is it, the Office reference? Sometimes I start a sentence, and I just hope I know where it's going before I finish it, some shit like that. But either way, as usual, I spent fucking 20 minutes trying to set up the camera properly. I think this is okay. And I've said this every time as well, but whatever. Let's just fucking do it. Today is warming up because I'm garbage. Funny title, all that shit. I'm gonna, because I struggled with the curves, right? We're gonna focus on just making curved lines. So that's gonna be the focus. Curved, elliptical, right? Anything along those lines. And I do like doing the warm up, like the line practice, because it's a great way to focus on just one specific thing, right? I don't have to think too much about like all the different things going on. But as I just said that, why don't we just say fuck you to that and actually do both? We could literally do both right now, which is continue onwards with the ribbons, but specifically the focus shall be obviously on the line quality, right? So again, trying to make sure the lines are good is going to be the priority. But yeah, some sort of drapery thing, a ribbon thing, but this is the fun part. Now we're just going to, again, because we're focusing on the lines, it's only going to be about... Jesus, that was so difficult. Probably saw my hand shake there. Yeah, it's all... Some angles are much more difficult than others, but it's really fun to do. Regardless, this will be a good practice in reinforcing the form and also practicing lines. Somebody commented just an hour ago on my part 5 roadmap video saying that they weren't able to save it to a playlist. I'm not sure why, because I googled and it's supposed to be it's supposed to be only if you have as a YouTube Kids video, and mine definitely aren't. Like, there's no fucking way that these videos are YouTube Kids, right? And I think you also can't get monetized that way. So there's also no way that I would allow myself to make such a blunder. But not that these videos are getting monetized. I swear way too much. I'm really just gonna have to go to the professional begging route, as I've been saying, but haven't done. Right? Still no Ko-fi setup. Still no Patreon setup. It's very simple. I just make the account. I give them all my tax information, right? And then the CRA raids my house. But what was I fucking saying? Yeah, I have playlists, by the way, everybody. I have playlists of all the series, quote unquote, that I have going on, right? So I update them every time the video comes out. All the previous ones before I made the playlist, they're also part of it, right? So do not fret, my viewers. I have taken care of you. But I think this is actually a good way to go about it. Still continuing onwards with these ribbons of sorts, but focusing on the lines, the line quality specifically, which is obviously very difficult, right? That's the whole point. We want it to be difficult. Let's see, how do I want to go about for this? Right, so something like that. So what we could do is basically this is just going to be a practice in C curves and S curves, right? Like, that's supposed to be a very subtle S, but it's kind of shitty. And obviously applying it to form. So we could maybe, how should this look? Is this just gonna be one giant C? It might be actually. So let's do it in the movement that's difficult for me. See, that was pretty hard. And then, like so. Okay, I'm just gonna take a little, oh, my back. I wonder if there's ever gonna be a point in these videos where I'm not complaining about my back. Likely not. But anyways, let me just rest my brain a little bit. Again, even though I'm doing line practice, I think it's actually good to overlap and constantly reaffirm the things you learn, right? It's the only way to grow is, yeah, to keep reinforcing what you've been practicing. Okay, wonderful. Oh yeah, I guess to the new audience, because I'm at 202 subscribers now. I'm probably gonna keep fucking jerking off about this 24/7. But guys, it's actually unbelievable to me. And girls, I'm pretty sure I do have a female audience. I mean, I must, right? There must be at least a few people. I mean, apart from my girlfriend, who find this interesting. But I do believe it would be predominantly male, just because my humor is more predominantly male-oriented humor, right? Ah, yeah. See, that's a did keep the form in mind, but that's okay because now we can keep the form in mind as I continue onwards, like so. Maybe that works out, right? Because it's subtle. It's a subtle error. Error. It's actually crazy to me that I'm getting a community, by the way. People commenting, saying my channel's underrated, it's awesome. Obviously, this is all thanks to Broken Draw, right? I have gotten comments like that previously, before his exposure therapy, but that doesn't even make sense. But, oh no, I think I fucked something up here. I was just trying to go along with this, but that doesn't make any sense anymore. It should have been, oh, it should have been, yeah, these three lines actually, these two specifically should have been going and forming that. Should have been like curved up to meet that. But that's okay. And I think it's a good idea actually to keep it so this way we still it's kind of like you can still understand that. I guess let's just say the top is what has these stripes, right? It'll make the form clearer that way, I'd like to think. And I'll do maybe an entire section like this of these, and then I'll practice more of, because the curves, I struggle with the curves for single rounding, right? And again, it's good perspective practice. Yeah, see, this could be a lot smoother. Continuous lines, obviously, are also what I struggle with, right? So I'll do more of that. It would be probably best to make them larger, and then obviously, like this, go inward, just repeating that same thing. But yeah, let's see. So I know that's a mistake. Okay, we can do something like, right? It's the beautiful thing about drapery is that it doesn't have to make the most amount of sense. It just has to be. Okay, so I have to think really hard about this now. It's good. I can actually practice my perspective while I do this, and my spatial reasoning, actually. So I'm trying to make this go under, and then you see it go over. No, I want it to go like this. I'm trying to think. I know obviously the focus is on lines, but hey, what the fuck's wrong with my voice? Oh my god! I am a man. Oh, there you go. That's better. Fuck, bro. So much jizz. I'm recording, right? Yeah. Look at this. Actually, a pretty good angle I'm going here in terms of the camera and shit. I can see everything clear. But let's think. Oof, this is gonna be a good thought experiment. Okay, so why don't we... This actually is not what I wanted, but... we'll have to see if this will even make sense, right? Let's see. Something like that. I don't think it makes that much sense, but there's something fucky things going on here. Right. There's something wrong here. Which is... what is it? I'm trying to think. This is supposed to be line practice, but I turned it into a fucking drapery thing. Probably shouldn't have made it so convoluted. Okay, whatever. Let's just do the line. But yeah, guys, it's actually insane to me that I have a little bit of a community coming now, which, you know, I really appreciate. Right? Despite my personality and, you know, the way I speak, right? This is all very, very, very much appreciated. But I will probably mute this part of the video so my fans actually don't know how much I need their attention. Yeehaw! What the fuck? Okay. something fucky going on here. Oh, I think I know what it is. This shouldn't have been like this. It's supposed to be going in this way. Because this was the initial curve, right? So yeah, this actually should not be like this. This actually makes sense. Maybe this should have been more like this instead. And this one should have been out, coming out like that. See, that would have made more sense. Rather than here, I believe. Whatever. This looks a bit fucky now, but let's just do one more. Or I guess I've done a little bit of this. Let me just practice curved lines in general, right? See? It breaks off. That's what I need to focus on. Cool. And then we do it the opposite way. That was very difficult. Let's see. Cool. Maybe we can do some C curves as well, right? Again, the more clean and even they are, the more it will apply to these, right? Follow up with something like this. This was a little dinky here. Cool, it is getting better though. It's definitely slowly but surely getting better. And there will likely be points where it gets worse as well, as I'm really concentrating. Just like that. Just like there, right? Look at that, all broken and shit. But those are the moments in which you must focus even more. Yeah, it's just about how much can you focus, how much can you maintain focus, and how much can you continue doing that over and over and over. I mean, Andrew Huberman says this one thing where it's like when it comes to focusing, it's very natural to have the first 10 to 15 minutes be relatively unfocused, to have like that deep focus bout in the middle, and then to lose that again, right? And it's important to, it's not important, but it's also common and completely normal to lose your focus during the actual whatever learning session that you're doing, right? And the most important part is to be aware and catch yourself doing that, and it's the act of constantly trying to refocus that's important. Like I'm going to continue doing this angle because it's very difficult, which is good. See, that was a bit fucky, so we need to keep doing that again, right? Because we don't want to be going over our lines. We just want to accept that the line itself has had errors made. See, that was a bit better. And you might notice I keep saying some stuff. Oh, what the fuck, my back. Oh, that crack. But you might notice I say things a lot. Like specifically, I say X is difficult, and then I follow up with which is good, which is great, which is awesome, right? That's the mentality you want to keep reinforcing to yourself, which is this is difficult, therefore it is worthwhile, and the effort I'm making to accomplish this, regardless of the result, is what matters. It's all about the effort, guys. Did you, to the best of your ability, put in as much cognitive effort, physical effort as you could? Yes? Then you have quote unquote succeeded. That's your only metric for success. Did you put in effort? Did you analyze what went well and what didn't go well? Then did you make again another concentrated effort to rectify that? Right? It doesn't matter if you did rectify it. It's just, did you make an effort to rectify it, to improve? It's honestly all it is. You see, like, I made an effort to clean up my lines while going in between. Wasn't successful by any means, if we're gonna measure it by success of having accomplished what I set out to do, but it was an effort. And that's what I'm training myself to derive joy and fulfillment from. Literally just growth mindset, right? There's so many things that we hear regarding this shit that it can kind of get lost in the noise. But growth mindset, if we were to simplify it, really is just focus on the effort and train yourself to simply, and again, mindsets can be changed. That's the biggest thing Huberman says as well, right? It's the most beautiful thing about growth mindset is that it lets you know that your mindset can be changed. And how do we change our mindset? Well, in layman's terms, you literally just brute force it. Anytime you notice yourself having a thought that you yourself do not want to have, simply just change it, okay? Stop yourself from having it, or if you've already had it, immediately say, I don't know, 2 to 3 things that are more in line with what you want to think. Because our brain is just a reflection of our thoughts. And meditation will teach you that our thoughts are not a reflection of who we are, but we can make them a reflection of who we want to be, right? So, hashtag swag. Okay, let me take a break. You might be wondering, what type of effort are you talking about? Well, when I say cognitive effort, I'm not, the thing is, I want this channel, or whatever things I say, to be more clear, right? I know my public speaking, as per my intro video, has just gotten shittier and shittier, but I do want to be clear when I explain things like these, right? Like, how did I get to such a point? Not that my point is amazing by any means, but how did I already get to this point within 2 years and 4 months now, right? Like, how can I spatially reason to this degree? Right? This is supposedly good progress. So if you're wondering, oh, how do you do this? Well, yeah, it's about, okay, what do you think about, right? And that depends on which stage you're in. But the main thing is, you always want to be whatever perspective you are currently in the, okay, it's always about perspective, right? If you're actually serious about your art, form and perspective are the two main things you really want to visualize at all times, right? As well as your line quality. So at a baseline, always be thinking and applying to the best of your ability. That's important. Not and don't hold yourself to a standard in the sense that if you quote unquote don't perform to that level, that you're suddenly getting worse, or you're shit, or you're never gonna learn, or any of those fucking retarded ass thoughts, right? Because we've all been there. What you want to focus on is, at a baseline, your lines, right? The quality of your lines and the perspective that you are attempting to portray, right? And what I mean by whichever perspective that you are currently on, what I mean by that is simply, if you're just on 1 point perspective, you want to the best of your ability, visualize that 1 point perspective, right? You want to see it however you can. If you have aphantasia, you want to understand it as well as you can, right? But don't fall into the loop of thinking you have aphantasia. You may just not be trained in visualization yet. You may have aphantasia, but you won't know till you actually make a genuine concentrated effort to really try to picture something, right? We're all on a spectrum. Maybe you have poor visualization skills, but with enough training, you may be able to visualize pretty decently, right? We can always max out what we're given, you know, and it doesn't matter at the end of the day because it's about understanding, right? Visualization is just a really good benefit, but again, you can use your intellect in other ways. If Kim Jong-il couldn't visualize, but he understood form as well as he did, it would simply be a matter of him calculating on how to place forms and what type of forms he wants to place, right? Seeing it obviously would be a detriment in terms of maybe imagination, right? In terms of like creativity, but honestly, I don't even think that's true as well, right? So don't limit yourself one thing. And obviously, I'm fucking completely tangenting and going off track, right? But what I'm trying to say is when you're practicing, focus on 2 to 3 things at a time, but always make at least 2 of those things: visualization and perspective. Actually, no, what the fuck am I saying? Focus on your visualization, line quality, and perspective. Yeah, that's what you always want to focus on, whichever stage you're at, right? Right now, I'm focusing on, the line quality, right? Visualizing this little ribbon and the perspective that it resides in, right? That's what I'm focusing on. So that's what I'm slowly, like I saw this in my mind, roughly, maybe not exactly like this, but I saw about 60-50% of this. And again, you will be able to do things better at one point, and then you'll somehow get worse. But you're always on an upward trajectory if you're making that effort. You know, if you're making that effort and if you're obviously getting your rest, right? I, again, would genuinely suggest drawing only with pen. It is intimidating, it is scary, but it's the best thing you're ever going to do for your confidence and line quality. And it just comes down to your goals, right? It's sort of how much effort are you willing to expend in order to make things easier for you later on. Why am I using such a difficult pen? Why am I using the most fucking annoying pen in the world? Why am I using a pen, literally this brush pen, that is very difficult to make lines with and really requires pressure sensitivity, control, and all that shit? Because now I can use any fine liner, any ballpoint, right? Really any pen that doesn't require nowhere near the degree of control that this brush pen does, right? And I can use them pretty fucking well, even though I've never really touched them ever. I don't use fine liners at all, but I drew with the fine liner a couple months ago, and my lines were very clean. And it was very, at least in my opinion, like it was pretty quote unquote impressive or decent, right? So that's what you want to do, guys. You want to focus on a couple things at a time. And it's difficult. It's really hard to be like, okay, line quality and visualizing and perspective at the same time. But the more you do it, the better you get, right? It will be a struggle, but it's just, you just got to do your best and try as hard as you can, you know? Consistently. Just do your best, right? Okay, how do I want to approach this? So we could have something like... And the thing is, everybody visualizes differently. You know what I mean? Like right now, I'm actually understanding what my type of visualization is, because I don't really visualize that often. Or not, what the fuck am I saying? I'm literally so focused, I can't even speak. But I didn't really have a good idea of what type of my visualization is. But now I'm realizing that I kind of can vaguely see an image, and I have to be slightly disfocused or unfocused or whatever the fuck. That's what Kim Jong-il actually does too. He's like, he does the best when he's slightly unfocused, because then he can see everything a bit clearer. And that's the thing. I don't see it on the paper really. I see it kind of on the paper, kind of in my mind, and then I have to bring it together in a way that makes sense, right? This curve could have probably been exaggerated a bit more, but that's what I did. This is what I've ended up with, so I just have to accept it. See? So the perspective for this will be off, because that's not correct, but I'm focusing more on the lines themselves, you know? For this specific one. See, that was a mistake, but that's okay. Now, how do we want to approach this line? It's good to plan ahead So something like, see, but it's very stiff, and that's what I'm trying to work on as well. It's the little nuances in the lines that are also very important, right? It's, this still does a decent job of indicating form, I'd like to believe. But guys, I genuinely would recommend and gears. Anyways, yes, you people there. That's less offensive, right? If I just refer to you as a blanket, you people, you tribal monkeys. There you go. That's better. But yeah, I would genuinely recommend pen because it's gonna be difficult. It's gonna be scary, all that gay shit, but it's gonna be the most beautiful. Absolutely, not even beautiful. It's going to be the most beautiful. If you can see what I'm doing, that's you. That's you after you've used pen for 2 years. Think about that. Okay, let me take a break. Oh Jesus. Ooh, that's not bad. Okay, that's pretty good too. Yeah, it's kind of who like it's kind of you. You want to emulate the people you admire, right? When it comes to art, but you also want to have strong fundamentals. Even if you plan on being a digital artist, I would highly recommend drawing traditional pretty often. And still, if you're not going to draw traditional and you're mainly digital, when you do draw traditional, use pen, right? Or if you are digital, just completely get rid of the undo button, right? And that will be your replacement for pen, essentially, right? The whole point is the medium. It's not about pen because ink and all that shit. It's just the fact that you want to make things permanent, so you are forced to slow down and think, right? That's the main thing. That's at the end of the day, that's literally what you're trying to do. It's nothing more and nothing less. Is you're just trying to slow down and increase your decision making abilities and ensure that the decisions you do make um, hold weight. Because otherwise, like, I notice a lot of artists, even if they're not technically beginners in terms of how much time they put in, right? They understand color and shading and values. There's this artist, her name is Orb, right? Actually, pretty good artist, right? I'm not gonna shit on her or anything, but she is garbage. But like, her understanding of colors, values, she clearly understands, especially color and form decently well. But the thing is, you can tell that her line work is unconfident because when she draws, she's constantly undoing, and all that stuff. She's also very young, so obviously she has more than enough time to grow and understand this. But and this isn't me being like, oh my god, calling out artists, right? Fucking all that stupid ass shit. This is just me. You got to be realistic, right? You if your goal is, and again, her goals may be different, but I'm giving her as an example, is the fact that if you admire her, but you want to make representational art in the sense that you want to make things believable, it's important that you can take away her you can take away from her in terms of her understanding of color, light, values, shading, all that stuff. But it's also about understanding their weaknesses, right? Like, what is this artist? Do they understand perspective as well? There's a lot of artists that I admire that I don't actually want to draw like, in the sense that I'll take. That's the whole thing. Like you take what you want and then you disregard the rest. But I would again highly recommend that if you're trying to actually become excellent, right? You want to set clear goals for yourself. Is okay. If you want to be good, even if you have a really vague goal of I just want to be good at art, you need to understand that what that entails is you need to have good stellar spatial reasoning skills. That is the bare minimum to be good at representational art, right? And yeah, we like I don't agree with the whole that like all art is beautiful. All art is beautiful because the people who made it obviously enjoyed creating and they did it because they enjoyed creating. But there are rules to beautiful art. There are skills that need to be achieved for beautiful art, and that doesn't come with neglecting the fundamentals. It's just not how it works, right? And again, I have a title like this, but the fundamentals are not boring. You are boring, right? And there will be a period and there will always be a period actually where you're thinking really hard, and you're thinking very hard, right? That's the whole point. Is shit. I should have made Actually, I can do this. Just ignore that. That actually works perfectly. But yeah, guys, don't neglect the fundamentals. Make things hard for yourself so you actually can build the skill set that you need. I think more people now are going to be using me as ASMR because I even put that in my community post. But like have me on in the background and shit. But do keep this in mind. Think really hard. Really visualize as much as you can. Whatever your visualization ability is, we'll all visualize differently. Even Peter Han says that he doesn't see shit on the page like Kim Jong-il does, right? For him, it's kind of like he's calculating more than anything, and he's thinking about basic shapes, and then he's adding things on top of those basic shapes. I think anybody can do that, right? And Peter Han, in my opinion, I would put him up there with one of the modern masters, right? He's put 30 years of his life into this, and like his art is amazing. There's nothing more to be said apart from that. But okay, now let's do multiple rounding and let's make it again, multiple rounding is a great way to see if you actually understand perspective or if you're just a piece of shit lying to yourself like me. It's okay. It's not amazing, but it's okay. Actually, the difficult part about this is keeping the perspective in mind. But this is what separates the goats from the boats. Very, very clever joke there, Viggy. Herder, I just rhymed two words together. Okay, that's not too bad. So let's just keep going along these lines. Ha! No pun intended along these lines. Anyways. And yeah, I'll be honest, it is very difficult to think about the perspective. It's very difficult. That's probably the most difficult thing. Is like, how the fuck do you imagine a box and the rules around the box? You do your best, and you always try to be thinking. If you ever notice yourself not thinking, just recalibrate and go back to thinking. It's the best way to go about it, right? And if we understand the rules, we're able to mold them to our liking, right? That's the most important thing. So now it's going to start looking like shit because I'm going to try drawing in between these lines, but that's also very important, right? It's why I recommend drawing slower. You don't have to. If you can do this fast, you can do it fast. But see, so many moments just right now that I didn't think as much as I should have, but then I'm recalibrating. And you're fucking lucky, by the way, because you're not commentating while you're goddamn trying to draw pieces of shits. You have it so much easier. Fucking cunts. Who the fuck do you think you are? I actually have a duty as a YouTuber to entertain my audience with my voice. Unlike you. Oh, you see? That was an intentional noise I had to make to entertain you. Fucking die. Die. That was also intentional. But that was more so for me because I want to show off my falsetto. Okay, yeah, lines were pretty shoddy there. But that's good. And to make it just zoom out a bit, why don't we do one on the outside? Okay. And then, oh god, fucking, I need to get a better chair, bro. That's what I need. This shit is, it's like just like a general office chair. Okay, cool. Take a little break. That's good though. What do I have after this? What's today? Portrait roadmap. Nice. That'll be fun. Yeah, I hope the newcomers do like the. Or no, I don't really give a shit if you do or don't. But I would like the newcomers to enjoy the background music that I use, right? The good old Chainsaw Man background music. That shit's really nice. What can I do here? I can just like basic S, I guess. Like the most subtle S curve. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's hilarious. I kept getting like copyright, not strikes, but what is it, notices or whatever, and then I just kept using the same fucking paragraph I used to dispute it every time, and they just at this point they probably even know that okay, this guy's gonna be spamming this shit all the time, so they probably don't even bother with that the check anymore. I don't know how it works, but my ego would like to believe that this 200 actually, yes, 200 subscriber channel is making them all regret ever even pretending like they even have the license to that fucking music, which they don't, by the way. They literally don't. I don't know who the fuck these people think they are. Copyright is bullshit, says aspiring artist. Artist? Autist, clearly. Artiste. That's controversial. I can't wait for half the shit I say to become fake controversies when I'm bigger, right? Specifically girthier is my goal, but you know, we can only joke for so long. Okay, clearly I struggle with the line weight during the middle portion of this curve when I go upwards, so it may be wise to try my best to lighten the pressure. That was a little bit better. Again, I don't know why I keep saying again as if I've talked about this before. This one I actually haven't. Some may find my practice that I'm doing a bit boring, but it just comes down to how much you love the craft, right? I personally take fucking infinite joy in placing these lines down and trying to get better slowly but surely, because it's just about intent. If you're Oh fuck, I really fucked that up, damn. It's about intent, right? If you're focused and you're present, it's hard to feel as if it's boring because you're just present. You're not thinking about this is boring. You're just doing your best to make those lines. Like each line for me is a fucking journey. That's honestly what it is. Each time I put anything down, it feels like its own journey, right? Which may sound absolutely fucking retarded to most people, including myself. I can't believe I said that. How cringe. But anyways, to me, it truly is like that. Yeah, let's try a foreshortened one, right? This is, if we're going by, this is a bit too harsh, way too harsh. It's the 2 points that it has to go along. Yeah, that's another thing. You got to think about the 2 points that it's converging along. It makes it easier, you know? Because again, if this is a corner and then you put a point here and here for rounding, it should be like that, right? So you always want to think about those 2 points and that they're even no matter where you are, right? Because then it's easier to actually apply it in full. But yeah. See, that was a bit of a fuck up on my end, but I aim for perfection, like quote unquote perfection, because then again, you're reducing your mistakes. If you aim to be perfect when it comes to perspective, right, then what you're really doing is you're aiming to increase the believability, right? This shape right here in this perspective, this easily could have, fucked that up, so that's not believable anymore. This easily could be some sort of bathtub or something, right? If we just did this, rounded the bottom here, brought it up like that, you know, maybe some sort of leg over here, right? This is some sort of tub. It could very easily be some sort of tub. You know, if it's really hard to believe that it's a tub, there you go. But yeah, I guess that's the point I'm trying to make. Is for me, the way I train is I train like I lift, right? Which is intense repetitions, constantly trying to evaluate if it was a good repetition, right? Because there are good repetitions and there are bad repetitions. Bad repetitions are unfocused and unclear. Good repetitions have direction and a concentrated effort. Again, like it's all about effort, right? So, I mean, this is to all aspiring artists like myself. We're all beginners, right? So, if you ever feel like you're not going somewhere, think about how much effort you've put into the right things, because there are right things to put effort into, you know? I'm not saying you have to be like me again. I think I said this in my intro video, right? I understand that only practicing fundamentals is not for everyone, but nobody ever got anywhere by not practicing fundamentals. And yes, fucking, I'm sure many of you will be like, actually, and you'll give me fucking 20 examples as to people who did get somewhere. But I think you all know what I'm trying to say, which is the vast majority of proficient artists are also proficient draftsmen. Okay? Draftsmanship. If you want to draw what you want to draw, then stop bitching about boxes and cylinders. Start putting the work in and start finding the novelty, curiosity, and joy in these endeavors. It's not going to come immediately, of course. Even I don't come immediately. It usually takes about 20 minutes to 40 minutes. So, you know, it's all about foreplay, but with enough reps, you will splurt out beautiful, beautiful jism known as your artistic voice. See, like that angle I struggle with. But yeah, I would say from this line to this line, like the lines I did there, I wasn't focusing that much, but I recalibrated and caught myself at the end, which is how it works. right? So, should I take another break? It's been 50 minutes. Yeah, let me take another little brain break, and then I don't know what other lines can I do. Okay. Okay, what kind of lines can I do? Oh, and by the way, I'm intentionally speaking with extreme authority, so you all listen to me. But honestly, though, I'm trying to be clear and direct, right? So if I come off as sort of telling you what to do, good, because somebody needs to tell you what to do. Fucking loser. No, fundamentals are important, right? There's no way around it. There's no way around the fact. These are just facts. Use pen, increase your confidence. Practice fundamentals, increase your spatial reasoning. Better spatial reasoning, better understanding of perspective, right? Essentially, better spatial reasoning and manipulating of shapes is just the hack to creating the art that, if you want to create representational art, right, which is representing the world around us, that is the way to do it. You know, you're not gonna represent what you want. At least if your goal specifically, actually, I'd like to mention, is to draw from imagination, which I think a lot of people's goals is to draw from imagination, right? A lot of you came from Broken Draw, and he specifically prefaced with, if you want channels about imagination, right, subscribe to these motherfuckers. And I am one of those motherfuckers. So please, you literally asked for this, right? So don't complain when I fucking go on my tangents, right? I've made it very clear with my channel that this is who I am. This is real. This is me. I know exactly who I'm supposed to be now. I'm going to let the light shine on me. Demi Lovato. Okay? There's a fucking, that clip of, I don't know if anybody's seen that clip of them doing the fucking camp rock marching thing, but without music. It's so fucking cringe. And Demi has the most insane psychotic smile on her face. Yeah, she has like the fucking fake smile of the gods. Her eyes are wide open, and she has a really big smile as well, right? Very creepy. But as a kid, I was like, hell yeah, Camp Rock, and I tried doing the dance, much to my parents' dismay, because I was not doing it well, and they were very disappointed in my lack of I don't know, dance ability. What the fuck is that called? Always wanted to be a ballerina, but I didn't have the heels for it. Okay. Ooh, there you go. A bit more pronounced. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I have, let's say, about 10 minutes, 10, 15. What type of line should I make? Well, I can do this. Actually, yeah, let's do it like this. This is a bit of a difficult angle for me. Again, will I ever draw like this, right? Probably not, but and it would probably be better just to, you know, push my hand a little bit forward on the pen. But I sometimes, just so, again, like drawing from this extremely difficult hand position as well as angle, I like doing this because it will make the other hand positions and angles that aren't as extreme easier, right? And we all want things to be easier, but for things to be easier, they must first be difficult. I could turn this into a drapery thing, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to make this purely a line practice. Because technically that's what this this current practice is all about, right? Oh damn, that was a good one. That was waiting in there. Difficult, very difficult. Good shit. But yeah, on another note, do sign up for Art Wad. Like, I mean it. Like, it's going to propel your fucking. It's not even about shilling. I just love their program, bro. I literally felt like I had found the answer that I've been wanting in terms of the skills I've been wanting to gain when I found the Proco video, 6 steps to draw anything, right? That was Antonio essentially talking about his process and then plugging Artwad at the end. Ooh, that was difficult as well. But yeah, like that shit, once I watched it, and I didn't have money at the time too. I wasn't gonna get paid for another couple of weeks, so it was so, or another week. So it was literally torture for me to know that something like this existed, and I just didn't have the means to access it, right? Yes, you could say, because the thing is, technically everything that he says in the video is right there, right? And he has enough videos on the Artwad channel that shows you how to go about it. But if you're looking for that structure, the guidance, right? I would say the roadmap doesn't have enough repetition, and the roadmap is the future, right? But basically what they do well is really condensing the video part, right, the teaching part, into the most essential. So you're not watching anything for longer than 8 to 10 minutes max. They're usually 4 to 5 minutes, right? And then they immediately have you start practicing their puzzles to apply what they just taught you. But again, there isn't enough repetition. There's only maximum 6 puzzles, right? And the old beginner course used to be like, draw 20 boxes in different orientations, draw 20 of this single rounding, right? And Antonio said like a lot of beginners don't have that grind mentality. Again, it's not about the grind mentality. I think that's the wrong way to go about it. It's just about understanding what's necessary, right? If you understand what's necessary to get good at something, it's very obvious to just do those things, right? And maybe some of you will say, actually, it's not that obvious, right? That work ethic, blah, 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 blah. Well, then you have to reevaluate. Do you love this enough to put the work in that is obvious, right? Do you care about the process of getting to that point, or do you care about the end result? You know, I quit in 2020 after a fucking week of trying to draw lines from Drawbox's line practice, right? Where they would essentially have you do 2 points and then you just go over 10 times, right? And then you fill a page with that. So again, they were also very intent on building repetition and that muscle memory and the understanding and good lines, right? Which is why I practice lines, by the way. As a beginner, lines are the most important, in my opinion, right? Like in terms of just the foundation of what you're creating. You know, yeah, your lines can be kind of wobbly and shit if you have amazing perspective, but the thing is, they still need to be relatively clean. You know, like these are not good lines because they're not that clean. So as a beginner, you really do want to, or just as an artist, you want to always prioritize your line work, I'd like to think, right? Just your basic lines that are going to create your art later on. So yeah, I gave up in 2020. Because I've been smoking a lot of weed and I was just quitting at that time, right? So if anybody's ever quit weed, you would know, especially if you're as much of a fucking addict as I was, you would know that it's very difficult. Lots of brain fog, lots of indecision, lack of clarity, right? Fucks with a lot of your mental faculties. So I literally just gave up after. But the point is, I had the wrong mentality back then as well. Is I just gave up after a week because my lines weren't exponentially improving. Like, what kind of fucking retarded ass thought process is that? You know, I just didn't understand the work it would take. That's also, again, why I'm making this channel or doing all this shit. I want everyone to know how much work it takes, right? And it's kind of unfortunate that I didn't showcase the first 2 years or not the first year and 2 years and 1 month, right? Because I started back in December, and that was December 1st is when I made that video, actually, because I was just rewatching my intro. I love hearing the sound of my voice. I'm a fucking narcissist, I swear. I just love my own jokes. But yeah, I made that video December 1st. I do wish I showcased my progress since then, but it's the same shit that I'm doing now. It's literally the same shit, but less advanced, right? Back then, it was literally 7 months of just box and cylinder cluster perspectives. Thousands, I want to reiterate, thousands of intentional reps. Not, oh, I drew a couple here and there, and then I'm like, I think I got the concept, and then I moved on. No, I want to drill that shit in my head, because that level of perspective understanding is what I felt I needed in order to be able to make everything a little bit easier afterwards. And lo and behold, things are much easier now, because I can just, as a baseline, generally see a pretty decent perspective grid in my mind, you know? Obviously, after a certain point, I realized that, okay, bro, I actually just need to start manipulating these shapes, because that's a whole different skill set. And it's all different skill sets, and I'll keep saying that. But everything you try in art, everything even slightly different or new, is a completely new skill that you have to get acclimated with, right? So don't forget that either. again, it's the beauty of it. It's all about your mentality, right? There's that there's like a meme one of my friends sent in our Discord chat, right? And it was basically, I don't know if anybody's seen it, where it's two people on a bus. One is looking out the window all sad, like on one side of the bus of the window all sad, and another is looking out the other side all happy, right? And it's supposed to be two people who are thinking the same thing, but their outlook on it. And in this one, it was there's so much to learn, and he looks all depressed, and then there's so much to learn, and he looks extremely happy. You want to be the person on the right, right? And you may have limiting beliefs that you can't learn. I think that's the biggest thing holding people back, is that they believe they can't learn, they believe it's talent and all that fucking retarded shit. It's not. It's drive, work ethic, curiosity, and consistency. More than anything, curiosity and consistency. Everything, the others will take care of themselves. If you're curious, more than anything, honestly, I just think it's curiosity and passion. Obviously, I'm just fucking, I've been changing it up fucking 4 times. I'm just like, actually, more than anything, it's this. No, that's just me thinking out loud, I guess. But yeah, I think it's really just curiosity and passion, right? At least one of those. If you have one of those, you'll end up doing what I'm doing, which is, I love this shit, bro. I fucking love this to my core. I think about art 24/7. You know, it's a goddamn travesty that's gonna take me 20 years to get to the point I want to get to. Not because I'm in a rush, but because I could spend more time drawing and it would take less time technically to get there. But for me, it's just, damn, I'm not gonna be able to spend my entire life drawing. Only 1 to 2 hours a day, and this 2 hours right now that I'm doing, right, two 1 hour chunks is a goddamn blessing for me, just because I have literally no work from my wonderful workplace. But that's a whole different story. Shouldn't bitch too much about work, because I did enjoy it a lot. Just didn't get treated well as an employee, but in terms of the compensation and all that stuff. But you know, if I ever get found out, don't want employers to be all like, again, this is an hour-long video, and we're near the end of the hour. Nobody's watching this shit, right? But yeah, I don't want employers to be like, oh, so you're telling me you're not extremely passionate about UX and it's not your life, and you just do the job as a 9 to 5 and you excel in it. That's what I assume all hiring managers sound like. That's supposed to be anger, but maybe it just sounded like an incredibly bombastic gooning session. Okay, I think I'm done here. It's been an hour and 2 minutes. Let me actually go down here a bit more. But yeah, guys, just love the craft. If you love the craft, and I know it sounds very like whooshy. Is that a fucking word? Like, it sounds very like, oh, just loving the place, yeah. So yes, you know, make sure to touch yourself at night. Well, right, that's not what I'm saying. Although the last part I definitely encouraged. It helped my art immensely. But love the craft, love the effort you put in, or delude yourself into loving it, and you'll end up loving it anyways. That's what I did, right? We can change our brain, we can change how we think. I was having some negative thought patterns, and then I literally just changed them, right? I just made a very concentrated effort again to change them, and now I love this shit. Oh baby, I love this shit. Mistakes and all. Yeah, and if you're all wondering why I always keep my left hand on the side of the page, it's just because the paper shifts around otherwise, right? So, yeah. Okay, I think I'm done. Good amount of lines, right? Variety. S-curves, S-curve, C-curves here and there, right? I'd say it's pretty good. And I still managed to practice a little bit of the ribbon drapery stuff, and I visualized a good amount of this, which is pretty happy. Which I'm pretty happy about. The fuck. Grateful. Should you replace grateful with happy? Possibly. But yeah, with that being said, as always, I'm probably gonna get tired of this fucking outro at one point, but I'm gonna keep going. It's abrasive, it's insulting, and it's inviting at the same time. Yes. Yeah, so as always, fuck you for watching, keep drawing, and please, give me money!